Top story now, that attack on Christians in Nigeria's second largest city, Kano. It's part of a disturbing trend of violence over the past few years, much of it attributed to the armed radical group Boko Haram. Well, the group has claimed responsibility for numerous attacks. On New Year's Eve in 2010, an attack on a beer garden at a police barracks in the capital Abuja left 30 people dead. In August 2011, Boko Haram claimed responsibility for a suicide attack on the UN building in Abuja. That killed 23 people. An attack on a church in the town of Madala on Christmas Day last year killed 42 worshippers. And the following month, Boko Haram targeted Christians and police officers across the country, culminating on January the 20th with multiple attacks in Kano that left 128 people dead. Well, Ayo Johnson is the founder and director of Viewpoint Africa, a news outlet based in the UK, joins me from London. Ayo Johnson, nobody has yet claimed responsibility for the attack, but is there a sense that Islamist militants are behind this one?
Absolutely. The style of it is in keeping with what we expect from Boko Haram. Also, the fact that the explosives were fitted into tins, usually drink tins, soft drink tins, is an indication that that's the sort of style. And of course, the fact that they've used grenades and actually follow that up with ammunition to shoot down those who are fleeing the area is in keeping with the sort of style that's accustomed with Boko Haram.
Let's just talk about the government's response to all this, Ayo, because attacks by Boko Haram have clearly been on the rise, as we showed there. I mean, why has Nigeria's government struggled to contain the group? Is there a breakdown in the intelligence? I mean, what's causing them to be able to act with such impunity across the north and the south?
Well, yes, firstly, it's a breakdown in intelligence. There's no doubt about that. The security forces are clearly not working as well as they would otherwise do. The international support that they're getting is probably not helpful as well. Boko Haram has the ability not only to melt within the existing population in Nigeria, but also to go across the border to Chad, Niger and Cameroon. So that's one aspect. And of course, Boko Haram are already taking advantage of an already divided community, especially between the Muslim and Christians in that part of Nigeria, to put a wedge and an even deeper wound into the community. But we must say, despite the fact that Christians have been killed, Muslims are also targeted in the past. So really, Boko Haram's bombs do not discriminate.
So what's the government's next move then? I mean, is there only a military solution, or are there other things the government should be doing, addressing fundamentals like job creation, social inequality, etc.? Because that's the sort of thing that all the experts tell us is driving recruitment into Boko Haram.
Absolutely. Poverty, inequality, access to jobs, the disillusioned youths. These are all factors which are very much part of the Nigerian economy, which the government has actually failed to address, both at a federal level and a local level as well. So there's a leadership issue, there's no doubt about that. But more so is how you can actually bring about confidence. Most recently, as you will realize, Boko Haram has actually broken down the peace talks which were being done through the government, through some clerics. And of course, Boko Haram has actually decided to take the fight directly to the media, targeting journalists and media outlets who are there to express the story in both sides. So I think there's now a breakdown in the fact that the community at large, disillusioned as it is supporting Boko Haram in some aspects, because Boko Haram has the ability to melt away and make these sort of attacks at will, which is very, very disappointing.
Ayo Johnson, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. Now, the International Committee of the Red Cross says one of its staff members in Pakistan has been found dead nearly 4 months after he was kidnapped. Police discovered Khalil Rasjed Dali's body by this road in Quetta. He was abducted by unidentified armed men while on his way home from work in January. The 60-year-old British national was a health program manager. Staying in Pakistan, and a US missile strike on a building in Miran Shah in North Waziristan has killed at least 2 suspected fighters. Officials say 2 missiles hit an abandoned girls' school. Now, Bangladesh's opposition has called for a general strike to continue for another second day into Monday. They're demanding the government find Elias Ali, the leader of the main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Ali disappeared on April 17th in the capital, Dhaka. Iraqis are preparing for what could be a difficult summer, with the country facing widespread power cuts. Electricity use has been limited for years, but now the government's trying to solve the crisis by hiring ships to operate generators off the coast. Jane Araf reports now from Basra.
This is the Aram Sultan, one of the floating electricity plants the Iraqi government is relying on to ease power shortages in nearby Basra. Anchored off the Basra coast, it uses Iraqi fuel to produce 100 megawatts of electricity. That's enough for 100,000 homes, but it barely makes a dent in a country where the power is